I recently rewatched all the Harry Potter movies. And it seems to me Voldemort wasn't actually that bad. And the real villain of this would have been Dumbledore. Because
okay.
I don't know enough about Harry Potter. I'll be easy to sway.
So Harry Potter, I mean, I'll give you the broad strokes. He's a wizard, and then he has to beat the bad guy who is the most powerful wizard in the world, and he just wants to kill all the half-bloods. He wants only pure blood wizards. He doesn't like humans, and he's basically kind of like Hitler. Okay. So
that's what I remember from the movies.
He himself is a half-blood.
That makes
he himself
bad.
Exactly. Very, very much Hitlerian, right?
He's also like a fascist who brainwipes and tortures and
his nose is fucked up.
Correct. Oh. Yeah, he has no, because he's like turning into a snake and blah blah. Right. So I think Voldemort's he's not a good guy, but Dumbledore, he's the professor. He's the good professor that guides Harry and Hermione and Ron. And the way I see it, all he does is he gets in the way. He doesn't give Harry or anybody like very pertinent information. Like, he died in the 6th movie or something like that. He could have just given Harry like a paragraph of like, here's what you do to beat the bad guy. Here's like, I know all of this, but no, he does the traditional boomer thing. And like, well, because you didn't read my mind, I'm going to punish you. And then the entire next movie is them trying to interpret what Dumbledore meant, even though at any point he could have just told them straight up, have direct communication, and solved all of this. And this happens in every single movie. They talk about Dumbledore being like the greatest wizard that ever lived, but you never see it. He doesn't demonstrate any of his powers. Anytime he needs to do something, he just leaves. Like, they go, oh, Dumbledore's away on vacation. Dumbledore's away on business. And then Harry has to go to school where he's, there's mortal danger for him and every other kid. It's a terrible, terrible fucking situation. So Voldemort, all he really did was like, yeah, he might have killed a few people, but it wasn't as bad. Like, it's not as bad as basically convincing a bunch of kids and parents to bring them to a school where every year something terrible happens. Kids die. They have like these traumatic events. And this happens like super regularly. Yeah. All Voldemort ever did was like just scared some kids. And then that's it. Like, he couldn't even kill Harry Potter. That's how ineffective he was. And I think, and he didn't a lot
of people die in the last movie at the end there.
Yeah, but that's only because he recruited an army. It was very apparent that like when
that in some circles is bad behavior.
No,
hear him out.
I'm not saying he wasn't bad at right at the end, right? But he was portrayed.
He collapsed the London Bridge. He's a terrorist.
Wow. Okay. Cool. All right. So this is the worst thing that's ever happened. This is the worst thing that's ever happened. You don't see anybody going in the water. He just he
That's true. It was more of an infrastructure attack.
He broke some infrastructure. I'm so sorry. This.
Kyle, you hypocrite. You praise Ukraine for doing that.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly. Yeah.
I don't mean depends on what side
you're right about.
I did say it wrong. You caught me on it. Okay.
Dumbledore was very absentee, from what I recall from the movies, where it'd be like, "There's something incredibly important I must tell you, but not now."
You must solve my
just bounce.
Yeah.
And he's like, damn, dude, like there's living trolls in the bathroom.
Yes. There's a tree that will beat you to death.
At it. There's a tree that beats you to death.
It's called the
not so much fun in your movie, are they, Kyle?
If you get beaten up by the Whomping Willow, then that's on you. What did you think that the Whomping Willow
Don't put it in a school with kids. There's kids in the school.
Secret entrance.
It's not. Why is that? Why? Okay, don't make this a school. Don't put a school here. This doesn't make any sense.
That's true.
Don't go in the woods because you'll get eaten by spiders or bludgeoned to death.
Sending your kid to Hogwarts is only like
it wasn't his idea to put
it's like
there.
It's only a barely safer school than like that LeBron James school, where like everyone's like, nah, we're not learning to read. We're doing.
Have you seen
stuff.
that bit? So Key and Peele did a whole bit where it's a Harry Potter wizarding school, but in Compton.
That's very funny.
They're all going through metal detectors and shit.
That's funny. I mean, they needed metal detectors at the regular Hogwarts because a lot of those, they were giving those kids too much power.
Yeah, I got no complaints about Dumbledore, but the whole like premise of the books is that they're every year returning to a school that is very dangerous to attend.
Also,
dangerous.
the universe in which this this universe establishes that you could, against somebody's will, turn somebody into like an animal or like some inanimate object.
Sure.
And it's nuts because like, what if you were like a piece of shit? Like, what if you were a bad person? And so right. But like, I feel like Voldemort could have done way worse, like way worse. Imagine if you're a guy and then you wanted to like,
he tortured Neville's parents to death.
Oh no.
Oh,
no. Well, he didn't do it. He didn't do it. No, Bellatrix Lestrange did.
Yeah, but she works for him. This is like
she went to jail.
Leave Hitler out of this. This was Goebbels' mistake. Like this is a.
I'm not saying he didn't do. I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong. I'm saying that because of Dumbledore's negligence, I think that he is the bigger villain. And even in death, after Harry Potter died, he got Avada Kedavra and he went to heaven, and then he talked to Dumbledore, and Dumbledore still wouldn't give him a fucking straight answer. So
because he couldn't. Because if you tell Harry Potter what's going on, then he won't. Then things won't play out the way they're supposed to. Harry Potter is raised as well, he's a sacrificial lamb. You can't tell a 7-year-old, oh, in about 7 years, you're going to die at the right time so that evil can be defeated.
But don't worry, you're also going to get pussy from a cute redhead.
So
is that not
Ginny Weasley, I suppose, but she's very young. You shouldn't be saying that.
But he's a good girl.
Are they like 25 by the end of that show?
No.
Yeah. They're 16,
17. The actors are getting pretty old.
So
they're all older than I am.
God, man, like it just doesn't make any the whole thing of you're doing this at the right time, except for the fact that when Voldemort got a body again, he was very, very weak. If you got like 4 wizards from that school, like the professors, they could have taken him out. He was almost taken out in that first one. Remember with Harry's ancestors or whatever, and then they're like, "Let go!" Like that when they were doing that, they almost killed him. You're telling me that a Dumbledore wouldn't have done this?
Well, because when Voldemort was raised from the dead, they used Harry Potter's hair and once again binding them together, their life forces together, and their wands also shared the same, I think, unicorn tail core. So they're really nerfed against one another, and they don't figure that out until the very end. That's how Harry Potter keeps escaping. He keeps escaping because Voldemort wants to be the one to physically do him in with a magical wand. If he just got a knife or a fucking gun, that's the version I want to see, the YouTube like Freddie Wong version where like someone gives Harry Potter a 12-gauge shotgun.
There's Harry Potter with guns.
Every evil wizard.
That's a YouTube video. Yeah, for sure.
Every evil wizard would have a hard day if Harry had an AR-15.
That's true.
Things would have gone differently.
You need a good
song. There's a song that says, if I was in Hogwarts, I would solve problems with physical violence.
I mean, that's the thing I didn't like about Harry Potter. Just the way they handled magic in it, where every single time something came up, it would be like, oh, Harry, this door is locked. Unlock us, Doris. And it's like, okay, well, that's handled. And then it was just too much of that. What I would have liked is if once he got into heaven and was talking to Dumbledore, Dumbledore was like, Harry, my God, I gave you the time machine thing and you used it once. This can solve everything. Use it again.
Yes.
Time Turner, and he didn't give it to him. The Ministry of Magic loaned it to Hermione so she could take extra classes. That's what they do with the most powerful mechanic in their world. They give it to 12-year-old girls so they can take an extra biology course. That's what they do with it.
That's crazy.
Look, that's
the worst thing that ever happened. Yeah.
And what are you going to do? You want to get real nuts with it? Why don't you start doing the math on their currency system? Nuts and galleons and silver sickles. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up.
No.
Also, Harry is canonically a millionaire. Like he's worth probably $3-4 million or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's literally in a pile of gold that he never even bothers going to because he mostly, when he's not at school, everything's paid for. It's a boarding school. But he's mostly, in the summers, he's in the muggle world, the human world, and all of his expenses are like minor and they're covered by his aunt and uncle. So he has no expenses, no overhead, $3 to $5 million in the bank, piled up in gold, earning God knows what kind of old-timey interest. His friends Ron are so poor. There's a scene where they go to Harry's vault. First, they go to Ron's vault, and Mrs. Weasley, she's got like 8 fucking redheaded kids. She goes in there and like gets everything they have and rakes it into a bag. And it's like $27 or $36. It's something like that when you like equate it out to pounds from galleons. Don't ask me how I did that, but I did. And Harry watches that happen. Then they go to his vault, and he tries to be quick so they don't notice as he grabs a chunk of gold. Like he just drags out thousands of dollars into his fucking satchel to buy his stuff. And it's like, why don't you?
And he never helped the Weasleys?
He kind of does, but not really. Like the only time he comes close to financially helping the Weasleys, he buys the kids some chocolate in book 1 from the cart, and then again in when the Weasley brothers
does not come close to financially helping the Weasleys.
No.
Well, the second
buys a piece of chocolate. No,
yeah,
you just made Weasley brothers.
You just created 7 jealous chocolateless kids because only one gets the bar.
He funded the older Weasley's kids like magical stores, so he got them into business. But still, Ron is his friend. Ron is the one who spends a whole year with a broken wand at wizard school. Ron is the one whose robes for like the wizard prom are so humiliating that he doesn't want to wear them. You know, and it's like, dude, you can't help your bro out with a $40 wizard robe or like fucking 40.
Dude, Harry's a shithead. You're right.
Super shitty. Like, there's no way I could have my like poor bro showing up. First of all, I'm Harry Potter. I can't have some ragamuffin like bro showing up all with his high waters on and his Nikes from 1992.
And what about Hermione? Couldn't Hermione just be like Robus Fixus?
Yeah.
Like,
so that's another thing. So how does an economy work at all? Because is there? I mean, that's some drip. That is some drip right there.
Dude, look at those ruffles.
Looks terrible.
I want to wear that in Elden Ring.
Listen,
that's like how I dressed my character in Red Dead Redemption. It's some fucking nonsense.
You're all right, boy. So,
I don't know how alchemy works exactly in the Harry Potter universe, but I just choose to believe without any deep research that they can't make silver, bronze, and gold. That those
but how does? But you don't need. But you only need that insofar as like it buys other things. So how do you have a scarcity? How do you have scarcity when you could literally magic things out of air? You know,
I don't think they can magic those things, but I think there are certain things they can't magic out of the air in general. And I think that one of the things is this bias.
They could do food.
Well, you're exposed to this bias from the books and the movies where every wizard you see is like a master wizard, whereas you might imagine that the average wizard can't do most of that shit. Like when we see Marvello's family, like Tom Riddle's like ancestors and stuff, like they're shitty wizards. They don't know how to do stuff. I think that's part of it too. And also it was written by like not a great writer.
Yeah. You know? It just seems like if, let's say, Dumbledore could make food come out of thin air.
Sure.
Why doesn't he just do? Yeah. But he doesn't like, we're going to have a feast, but every kid in here is just paying me money to do this.
Well, I don't think he can make it out of thin air because like what happens is the house elves cook all the food and then he makes it appear from the kitchens on the plates. So I am a little confused about how things are like come out of nothing. I don't think they can actually do that in a way that breaks the economy. And they go to like Star Trek post scarcity commie wizards.
Yeah, it just seems like there's the rules are a little inconsistent, you know. So
big time. Well, I don't know. There's tons of inconsistency. She's not a great writer. Just not.